is my greedy technique project. First thing to take note of is our main. The main has 4 main components. That is the integer for the max weight, which was assigned as 280, and then 3 integer arrays, one containing the weights, the values, and the last one containing the item quantities for our different items in the knapsack. And then we have the last calls. So we call each one, and that's all that's main. So the greedy solution to this, we start by taking in the integer arrays for weights and values and the integer for the max weight. First thing we do, we use n to say that's the weights.length, so we'll use that for our loops pretty much. And we could have chosen values because they're both the same amount as the number of items, but I went with weights because it was the first one I chose. The next thing we do, because this was one of the things I kind of struggled with in this one, it's a ratio between weights and values, so we can't just sort it normally. So we have to create an integer array for the index, populate it, and then we sort using the comparisons of the values of each one. So we can sort out our array. And then after we have it sorted, and we have to do it this way so that they're sorted together, because otherwise if you sort them separately, they won't line up. Then we set the total value to 0, and then we just have one loop that goes through, and it takes the current item, its index, compares if that item's weight is less than the max weight, and if it is the case, then we can change max weight to be less by the amount of weight that we just had, and we can change our total to be increased by that value. And then we return the total value. The next thing we do is the dynamic version, and this one's different in that we aren't taking the array and sorting it, but instead right now we're going to create a new array called DP, and we're going to initiate our steps, and we initiate n the same way. And this time we're going to have nested for loops. The first time through the for loop, we set the current weight and value using I, and then we go to this where we will go through the max weight as the j, and we're going to subtract from j by 1 till we reach that weight, that's the initial weight that we started with at I, and we increase the steps, and we check the max between the two over and over again, and we set that to the current DP, and we will return the DP for the max weight. Then the final one, the optimized version, which is where we're taking the item quantities, I chose to solve this greedily, so everything's pretty much exactly the same. Until we get to our for loop, we need to have a nested while loop, because in the for loop, we basically go through and iterate this item, its weight, its value, its quantity, and then we have to have a while loop that checks the quantities, and then the max weight, total value, and quantity by each one. And we have to do this because if we choose one item, we want 2 of them, then we have to while loop so that we take both quantities. And basically, we just remove the quantities as we go so we can bottom out the while loop, and then we do the exact same thing for max weight and total value, return them, and if you run it, you can see we get 590, 590, 600, and the dynamic and greedy align. So that